Welcome to New Life Live, the premier place to receive free advice from Christian psychologists and counselors for the mental, emotional, relational, and spiritual challenges you face. Since 1988, we've offered compassionate responses that combine God's truth with proven psychological principles to guide you toward healing. Our phone lines are open. Call us now at 1-800-229-3000.
It's our favorite time of the day here at New Life Ministries because we open up the phone lines and talk to you, our beloved viewers and listeners. I'm your host, Brian Perez, and the number to call is 1-800-229-3000. We're going to be in the studio for 2 hours today, so why not give us a call? We're here to help you figure out why your spouse is more like your roommate nowadays. Could be trust issues or something else. Maybe you're struggling with your neighbor or you've got an eating disorder. Let us help connect you with your next right step. And the first step is to call in at 1-800-229-3000. Licensed professional clinical counselor Becky Brown joins us. She's also the president of New Life Ministries. Great to see you, Becky.
Good to see you too, Brian.
Yeah, and licensed marriage and family therapist Marc Cameron's here too. He's got some words of wisdom to start us off. Hi, Marc.
Hi. Good to be here. Okay, so today I want to talk about marriage decline. So the leading cause of death in the U.S. and worldwide is heart disease. But when it comes to marriage, it's the disease isn't physical, it's mental, it's emotional. It happens in the mind. It's disillusionment, it's dissatisfaction. And these can often lead to fantasizing, which left unchecked can lead to affairs and porn addictions in men. And that's the truth about porn and affairs they are fantasies. They're not real lives. They're curated versions of people and moments. They're detached from diapers and dishes and disagreements. But what most don't consider when they do fantasize is if someone did become your fantasy person, would you be theirs? Now, many men desire their wives to become their sexual fantasy while they're detached from emotional connection with them. And meanwhile, many women desire emotional connection with their husbands, but they criticize more than they show appreciation. Now, I'm not saying that women can't have higher sex drives or that relationships don't need open conversation for growth, because they do, but that begins with mutual support, not constant critique, and a healthy relationship of healthy view of what relationships look like. And so too often we start with what's wrong rather than with what's right. Now, I don't get it right all the time. But recently, in a moment of playfulness, I told my wife, let me tell you the story of my love for you. And it's more than just, how she made me feel and her smile and her laugh, but the things that, endure that I really like about her, love about her, her ability to see other people in need and offer help, her strong commitment to her faith, and her commitment to grow with me. And then I asked her to tell her story of love for me. Now, why did I do this? Why is telling a story important? And so you might have heard many parents who tell their kids the story of when they came home. Like, these kids don't know that story and they won't ever remember it. But for them, it's that memory of, I am loved by someone. Now, research shows that secure attachment begins by us being able to create a realistic and a healthy narrative of our own lives, and in relationship, it's creating a healthy narrative of our spouse too. Otherwise, we do fall into that discontentment. The Bible says, be happy with the wife of your youth. And that, of course, is meant to go both ways. And too often we only speak aloud the things that we don't like. But discontentment causes us to drift into fantasy. But if you want to rekindle a fire, you've got to add more fuel. So to rekindle love, you've got to begin by adding more fuel, celebrating, encouraging, remembering. So instead of lodging complaints this week and start to tell your spouse what you appreciate about them, and begin rebuilding the story of your love. It won't solve all your problems, but you're more likely to gain a listening ear and an open heart when you do have a concern.
Becky?
I love that. It is, what is the story you're telling yourself? And that works on all levels, but many times with couples, we focus on the problems and we don't dig up the good stuff. And the good stuff is what is worth nurturing, and to deal with the old stuff too. We can help you either way, obviously.
Yes, we can. 1-800-229-3000 is the number. We're going to be here for 2 hours today. I see Gina and Barbara. Everyone else will get to you too on New Life Live.
I went to Every Man's Battle in 2012. My sexual integrity was not what it should have been. I sought out affairs, whether physical or emotional. Until I came to Every Man's Battle, I didn't understand that would never fill that void.
Every day, men struggle with sexual integrity, impure thoughts, strip clubs, affairs, pornography.
The shame and guilt was overwhelming.
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle Intensive.
You will discover what the true root of your pain is, and you will discover how to overcome.
You don't have to struggle any longer. Get help in Orange County, California, September 26th through the 28th. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to register or to find out more. 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Enter the code NLL for a discount.
Every Man's Battle saved my life.
1-800-NEW-LIFE and the discount code NLL. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Did you get to read the New Life Daily Devotional in your email this morning? Great word about the medicinal value of God's Word. And did you also notice the new layout and design? It's part of our fresh new look that we know you're going to love. You can see the changes on our website too, newlife.com. And while you're there, head down to the footer of the page to sign up for our daily devos. It's a great way to start your day. And a quick shout out to Lawrence, who listens to New Life Live on Sirius XM channel 131 while making Grubhub deliveries. God bless you, brother. Speaking of Sirius XM, here is Gina. That's how she's listening in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Hi there, Gina. Welcome to New Life Live.
Hello. Thank you for having me on your show.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for calling in. What's going on? How can we help you?
Well, I have just had my 35th wedding anniversary, and we are in the middle of a divorce. And I definitely called on the right day because I was listening to what you were saying, and I think we fit just about everything that you said. And I don't know what to do. I've tried offering to do everything we could to save marriage. He seems almost like he's numb and is not interested, and so the divorce is going forward, and I don't know how to move forward with it. I keep looking backwards, saying, "What if? What if?" You know, and yet he's not doing what he needs to do as far as the legal process goes, and so now I'm going to have to take him to court, to a hearing, to compel him to answer the questions, and I didn't want any of this. I really did not, and I just don't know how to move forward.
Gina, what was the start of the divorce? Like, what was the nail that you said you're done, or he said he's done?
The first sign, I started finding motel keys and condoms. And this started, I actually started finding those about a year or so ago. But 4 years ago, he just walked out. And he came back after a few months, and I thought we could try to work things out. But he never seemed to want to do anything as far as counseling or anything like that. And so nothing ever really was healed or worked on. And then I found out about various women. And at the time, I was going through cancer. So it was a double whammy, actually a triple whammy, because I had to deal with my mom with dementia also. So everything happened at one time.
And it seems like that's the way it goes, isn't it? But Gina, here's the thing. The grief that you're experiencing right now, the wishing that it was different, is very normal. And I'm not saying it's, like, I don't want to make it seem common, but it is. You're grieving the loss of something that you really wanted to be successful. 35 years, even though these last 4 have been challenging, that's quite a long time for a relationship. It's amazing. And nobody gets married thinking, I hope we get divorced one day. I mean, no one ever thinks that. And you've also had to overcome this cancer and the betrayal. And what's happening to you right now is part of the grieving that goes into when a marriage ends, or even in the betrayal process. At our Restore Intensive, we teach the women how to expect the grieving process. That wishful thinking of, if he'd only go and do this one thing, then everything would be better. And, and feeling like if I was doing the right thing, then I would have that assurance. And the hard part is with grief, it's real messy. And divorce, there is a lot of grieving that goes with the divorce. And I would suggest that if you haven't already talked with a therapist about this part of the process of saying goodbye, of having that closure, that's going to be your next step. But Marc, I'd love to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, Gina, what's your question for us?
Well, I think I have spent way too long, and I hate to say that you can spend too much time praying, but maybe I've been praying for the wrong thing, and I just, like I said, I don't seem to know how to concentrate just on me and my future, because this is not at all what I envisioned at this stage in my life, and I keep kind of looking back and hoping, when really I need to just go forward in my life.
So what you're saying is you're praying for the wrong things, meaning you're hoping that everything gets resolved and that you guys can make amends, and instead you should be just praying for your future? Is that what you mean?
Yes, in a sense, but I'm praying really for him to come to know Christ. We're in separate places when it comes to a relationship with Christ,
Yeah, I think Becky's nailed it here. I think you're in the grief process. Part of the grief process, the beginnings of it are, the first stage is a denial, and then there's bargaining, and bargaining often looks like, how can we recover from this? And recovery is not a bad thing. But what you're explaining here, Gina, is that it sounds like he's mentally checked out and, physically left the marriage a long time ago. I mean, you found motel keys and condoms. This is pretty significant evidence here. And then he's already left. And so it's natural that you're in this process of grieving. You've been married for 35 years, and so and it sounds like you've been trying to make it work for the last several years here, and so you're in this process here. But I think you're on the right track here. It's you need to learn to get to that acceptance stage of, okay, I'm trying a lot harder than he is trying here. And I hear that guilt that you're saying, like, well, now I need to compel him because he's not following through. But it is confusing. He doesn't seem to want to be married to you in his actions, but then he's making the divorce difficult for you. And so that is highly confusing. And it is so unfortunate the way divorces turn out. People's love stories, it's so amazing when they meet, and then it becomes so nasty at the end, or it often does. It doesn't have to be. But I think, are you in therapy, individual therapy?
Actually, I have an appointment today, as a matter of fact. One other thing I wanted to say is one reason why it is kind of confusing. I feel like sometimes I get mixed signals. Pat, most of the time, he has nothing to do with me. He doesn't live at home anymore, and he does not talk. If he wants to communicate, he usually texts. But then out of the blue, he'll text me and say, hey, do you want to go to lunch, or do you want to go to dinner? And it's like, okay, well, what are you doing here?
Gina, you were married. You guys had an attraction. You had a life together. So it's very normal that you would feel that. It is confusing from him, given that he doesn't follow through with the other things. But that part of your life, it wasn't a dream. I mean, I'm sure you had, out of 35 years, you had some good years together.
Well, and that's part of detachment too, Gina. It's you've been attached to him in a certain way, and you're trying to separate. And this is why often, especially teens and young adults, they break up with someone, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh no, what about all of the good stuff? And then they get back together again. And sometimes it's a couple of times before they eventually break up. But it's because of the detaching part. But you're right, it is confusing. And so if you have the opportunity, you might have to confront him with that. Hey, I'm really confused. It doesn't seem like you want to make our marriage work, but then it seems like you don't want to let it go. Can you help me understand that? But ultimately, you're going to have to look at, what do you need from this? Because it is highly confusing, and you can't live in that state. That's not commitment to a person.
I think, Gina, when you go today to talk to the counselor, talk to them about grieving and also your boundaries. And I don't mean as a defense. I mean as, where does Gina begin and end? And when he reaches out to you in these manner that, it touches your heart, you have to have a way to clarify, this is just a way for us to connect, but it doesn't mean that he wants to stay in the marriage. Because if he wanted to stay in the marriage, he would do, and then have your list of what it would look like if he was moving towards you or moving towards reconciliation, so that you can begin to have clarity and healthy detachment.
And I'm not saying that this is the case, but because you have been betrayed, you need to consider, is this part of a manipulation tactic so that I get more of what I want if I can keep her, somewhat close to me and caring about me?
I would want you to, Gina, I want you to go to our Restore Intensive in November. You're going to find so much help there. You're going to find the support that you need and the clarity. Whether you guys ever, if the divorce does go through or if it doesn't, this is going to be part of your healthy next step.
We've also got the Intimacy and Marriage Intensive coming up, and that'd be great if both of you could attend that. That's coming up in October in Dallas.
And that would be wonderful, but he won't do that. He is checked out completely, but he's almost... I don't know what the right term is. He definitely seems depressed. I'll just tell you real quickly, about 4 years ago, he walked out 4 years ago. And right before it happened, this is how I describe it. If a person could have a lamp on inside of them where it gave off light, his went out just all of a sudden. And I've never seen anything like that happen before. I didn't understand it. It's just like a light just turned off, and you could almost physically see it happening. And he's never been quite the same since.
But Gina, with his history with sexual addiction or sexual acting out, he could have had an experience that is what happened. And you could, even if he doesn't go to intimacy and marriage, you say, if you ever want help, we can get you help. But just the way that you described it, it can be devastating when you don't live the life that you thought that you were going to live. And he's in a difficult place right now. Yeah,
and that's part of the detachment process, is you stop taking care of the other person. I hear, Gina, that you care about him, you really deeply do. I can see that, but maybe also that's could be part of your growth areas, that you might tend to be a caretaker. And so consider that part of the detachment process is learning to not take care of him, because he's not taking care of you.
Should we send a copy of Intimate Deception to Gina there in Tennessee?
Yes.
All right, that's what we'll do. Gina, stay on the phone and we'll send you a copy of Intimate Deception from the newlife.com store. And we'll also get you the details about the Restored Healing After Betrayal Intensive that's happening in November in Washington, D.C. And the Intimacy and Marriage Intensive is happening the weekend of October 17th in Dallas. 1-800-229-3000 is the number to call into the program today. And it's hard to believe we're already about 2/3 into 2025. So let me ask you, how are you doing with those hopes and and dreams that you set out to do this year. Maybe you fell short after a few weeks, or maybe you were strumming along quite nicely when something came out of the blue and now you're facing an even bigger struggle. It is time to dust yourself off and try again. You don't have to wait until January 1st to come around. Register for one of our 3 New Life fall courses. They begin next week. Find out which one of our once-a-week, 12-week courses is right for you by calling our friendly team at 1-800-NEW-LIFE or by visiting newlife.com. Don't drag those 2024 struggles that you thought were going to be in the rear view in 2025 into 2026. Get started today at newlife.com. These 3 courses begin next week. All right, we'll go back to the phones when we return here on New Life Live, and we're going to be in the studio for 2 hours today. Marc Cameron and Becky Brown are going to be here to answer your questions. 1-800-229-3000 is the number to call. And if you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube, thanks for watching. Call in. The number's right there on the bottom of your screen. This is New Life Live.
Here at New Life, we want you to have transformation. And so we have created the New Life courses, and you meet weekly on Zoom with a coach or counselor. You're going to have teaching as well as that group connection, because we know how powerful that is. We hear that all the time about our intensives, that they love the information, but the group process is so powerful. And many of you have been hesitant to participate because you're not sure, the timing, the price. The New Life courses are going to meet you right at that area of need. Every week you're meeting on Zoom with that therapist. You're going over the concepts as well as connecting as a group. It is so powerful, and it's accessible. Wherever you are, you're going to be able to join us.
Embark on your journey of personal growth and self-discovery in September with a New Life course. Lose it for life, take your life back, or healing is a choice. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Club New Life changes lives.
You guys came along into my life in 2022. That was a really, really difficult year of my life.
You can help New Life Ministries provide Christ-centered hope and counseling resources to thousands of people by joining Club New Life today.
I began to really process a lot of things that I've needed to for a long time, and y'all were a very big part of that.
When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, you'll make a difference in the lives of individuals and families with godly counsel and connection to help.
I came out of it having never experienced anything like that, and y'all were there.
Join today and help continue the message of hope to a troubled world.
I knew I had to keep going, and I joined Club New Life, and y'all have been the resource that has now been a light for my wife and I.
Go to newlife.com/CNL, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places.
Keep doing what you do, because it makes a difference.
newlife.com/CNL. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
And let's go right to the phones and talk to Barbara, who is in Mount Prospect, Illinois, watching us on YouTube. Hi there, Barbara. Welcome to New Life Live. Thanks for calling 1-800-229-3000.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, how can we help you today?
Well, the topic that you mentioned wasn't the topic that I got the text on. It was on anxiety and depression, but I surely could say something about this topic of marriage. Could I just say something quick about that?
Sure.
To ask my question about anxiety and depression? Okay, thank you. Fear and anxiety, that's it. Okay, as far as the marriage, my husband and I have been married for 25 years, and we dated before that for 8 years. The first few years there was sex in the marriage, but then after that there wasn't anymore, and we've lived as roommates and friends. He's a wonderful man. He's a wonderful Christian man, and he's opposite in my ex-husband, who was an alcoholic. He's the exact opposite, except they both were good workers, had, long-time jobs. Mm-hmm. But I just want to say that the one part I am missing the most, and ironically, I was lying last night on the couch, and besides my other problem with the anxiety, I had asked my husband a couple times last night. We were sitting watching a show. I asked him on the commercial some questions, and he had zoned me out. So he didn't know what I was saying, and I just felt like that's the part that bothers me, the emotional connectedness with him. And it gets really hard and lonely sometimes, that part. But, I have to deal with it.
Well, Barbara, one of the things, I know we sound like a commercial all the time, but you and he should go to our Intimacy of Marriage Intensive, because we help couples in your situation. You are roommates, but you love him, and it seems like he loves you. You have some sort of connection, but it's not everything. And even when you try to approach subjects, he doesn't know how to respond. And couples get into those rhythms and those routines, and they can be married for 50 plus years and just be, nice to each other, but it's not the full experience of marriage. I mean, this is what we talk about, isn't it?
So what's your main question for us today, Barbara?
Okay. So my main question is the anxiety, the extreme anxiety I've had. It started out a decade ago, and my husband never wanted to say anything to confront our neighbor, but the neighbor in back of us, who I call is a troll, because it's like he's real sneaky and he's always cutting my bushes and flowers and the things. It's my number one hobby. And now my neighbor the troll has gotten into my front gardens, which is a lot of sentimental flowers from deceased best friends, and my granddaughter from kindergarten, a butterfly bush she cut down. And we got the Ring camera. Once they get a Ring. So we got the Ring, and they said, well, you need to buy a smartphone. I did not want a smartphone. I got it. And do you know that even though he's still cutting, him and his accomplices, who I call them, his drinking buddies. And
so you're saying, in addition to cutting the shrubbery in your back fence, which you guys share, I guess, now he's going to your front yard and cutting that too? Yes.
And the corner, we live on a corner lot, and I have these unique 8-foot bushes in like a pyramid type shape, and he's cutting big holes in those. We got the Ring, but ironically I've had the police involved in stuff, but they can't do anything unless they have evidence. Him and his friends know how to erase the Ring, and Ring told me that is almost impossible, but it takes someone really good in electronics, which his son works in an electronic place. So I don't have the evidence.
Okay.
And it has me to the point, the anxiety, where I almost went over the edge. I mean, I do talk to a psychiatrist, and besides my antidepressants, I take something for sleep. She had increased that. And then she had to add olanzapine for calming.
So you just want to know how to deal with the anxiety then from what your neighbor is doing?
No, I want to know what you guys would do, because, obviously I can't have the police. I know David in the Bible threw a stone, and Goliath went running. And with my ex-husband, I was so afraid and intimidated by him all the time until after years of abuse and counseling, the light bulb finally went on after years of counseling. And so I stood up to him, and suddenly the rules and roles of the game changed, and he backed down.
Wow. Mark,
Barbara,
any thoughts before
Barbara,
we go to break?
hold on.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I want to ask this question before we go to break. Have you and your husband, your current husband, talked to the neighbor about this at all, face to face? Not in an anger, response, but just, hey, what's up? What are you doing?
All right, we will hear Barbara's response when we come back from the break, and we're also going to talk to Aaliyah and Ellen and everyone else who calls in to New Life Live. We're going to be here for 2 hours today at 1-800-229-3000. Call in.
I was stuck. I was so stuck. 27 years married. My husband addicted to pornography for the majority of our marriage. I was very isolated and didn't really know which way to turn.
If you've been affected by betrayal, an emotional or physical affair, or pornography, Restore Intensive will equip you with support and tools to help you through.
When two people want to do their part, we can be restored. But if they don't, we can still be restored. We are not stuck because someone else made a decision. That God lets us weigh in on how we want to walk out our lives. Our wellness does not hinge on another person's decision.
The Restore Intensive is coming to Washington, D.C. November 7th to the 9th. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and use the discount code NLL to save $50.
You guys helped me figure out what was going on.
1-800-NEW-LIFE and the discount code NLL. Do you need help for life's hard situations?
My husband recently said he wanted a divorce.
I'm confused on what I should do.
I have an eating disorder.
New Life Live answers your questions on relationships, grief, addiction, trauma, anxiety, and much more, all from a biblical perspective with our panel of professional counselors and psychologists.
I learned a lot from your program.
You help so many people.
I appreciate your ministry.
Whether you listen or watch, there are so many ways to connect with us to ask our panel of counselors a question. Call us Monday through Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific at 1-800-229-3000 to ask your question on New Life Live. Or go to newlife.com/radio for other ways to get your question answered.
I'm trying to find help.
I just want to know how to set boundaries.
If it's a sin, what am I supposed to do?
Need a therapist or a coach, a resource, or an intensive? Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
And let's go back to Barbara. So right before the break, Barbara, Becky asked you if you and your husband have confronted your neighbor about this.
Okay, this is a very interesting answer. No, we never have. I have by myself, but my husband was always in denial about it. When it started out 10 years ago, I would tell him, no. And then when it's gotten so bad this past year, I said to my husband, let's go over and talk to him. Let's get in the car and talk to him, go over there, even though he's in the backyard around the block. So he says, no, I can't. I go, we'll go over and I'll do all the talking. He said, no, I can't. And I come in and I said, why? What?
So
well,
then
I was on the porch.
You have or have not talked to him then?
Not together.
Okay.
I just talked to him like, why are you cutting my bushes? But my husband told me, and I felt really bad for him. He said, when I said, why can't you go over? I go, you always call me the mouthpiece. And I'm going to do the talking. You just have to stand there. He goes, because I can't. And I know there's something wrong with me, and I need to go to counseling.
That's what he said. He said. Okay. Mark?
Well, so, Barbara, it sounds like there's two issues here. There's the concern with the neighbor, which I agree with Becky, and what you're wanting to do is probably starts with going over and having a chat to understand more. But I think probably the most impactful thing that's happening in your life is this disconnect. I mean, you shared it earlier on with your husband. The fact that he's saying to you, I recognize something is wrong. I think I need to go to counseling. I mean, that's almost like an invitation to say, let's go and work on our relationship and get deeper. Because where you might be thinking that you said that you're missing that emotional connection with him. Well, it sounds like he's willing to open up with you, but he just doesn't know how, or he doesn't have the words, or both, and he needs some help in being able to do that. Have you thought about taking him up on that offer of going to counseling?
Well, I asked him, I says, together, right? He goes, no, I want to go by myself and have my own counselor, because I go to a counselor or, psychiatrist. He says, no, I want to go to my own counselor and talk by myself.
Okay, and why doesn't he make that decision? Because he's a grown man, he can go. Are you trying to, get agreement with finances? Is that why he's saying that and seemingly wanting to ask your permission?
Oh, I told him, I said, that's a great idea. I says, do you want to call someone? He goes, no, you can. And I said, okay, I'm going to work on that. The only thing is around his job, it's kind of tricky getting a good time and stuff. But he's willing to go. And he said that's what's wrong. I wish he told me that years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great.
One of the Mark, I think this is true. Anxiety is contagious, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like if you guys have been in this marriage for this long and you're both feeling that high level of anxiety, it's captivating both of you. And we can help you get connected, Barbara, or we can help him get connected with somebody. But I do think that's going to be part of the solution of the neighbor, too.
Yeah, and we've got a webinar coming up in just a few days that newlife.com is doing. It's with Becky Brown and Dr. Alice Benton. And do you think Barbara would benefit from this, Becky?
It would be a great idea for her to attend from chaos to calm.
Mm-hmm. You can get all the details about it at newlife.com. Your husband can attend too. It's just $20 per person. Actually, a few pennies less than $20 per person. But it's a 90-minute webinar. You can do it there at home. It includes a 30-minute Q&A, so we highly recommend this. And then from the newlife.com store, we've got a resource that we would like to send to Barbara there in Mount Prospect, Illinois. Any suggestions? I was thinking Take Your Life Back.
I was thinking the same thing.
All right, then that's what we'll send you. Barbara, thank you for calling in today. Now here's Aaliyah, who is in Omaha, Nebraska, listening on the New Life app. Hey, Aaliyah, thought we had lost your call. I'm glad you called back.
Hi. I'm glad I can still keep my my place, because I was like, I have to go to work in a few minutes.
Yeah, I saw your name pop
go
up
fast,
again, and
Aaliyah.
I said, yeah.
Ask your question.
We don't want you to be late.
So my question is, how can I balance school life, because I'm a new upcoming freshman, and my work life, because there's like the first couple weeks of school, they have like tens of thousands of like different events going on, and you're at school all day and blah blah blah. And it's just so much different fun stuff. You get to chat and like connect with people and live your best life. But then it's like so I'm not directly out of high school going to college. I went to work for about 5 years. And so then now it's like I have a whole job and going to school part-time. And it's just like I really just want to focus on my school. I don't have the funds, though, to just go to school full-time right now. So just how can I balance all of that? And because I feel kind of disappointed a little bit because I'm missing out. But I have faith.
So is this a full-time job that you have?
Yeah.
Okay, so a full-time job, and then you're taking school part-time. Mark, what would you say to Aaliyah?
Yeah, I think it's a normal response here, Leah, that you're wanting to be involved with what everyone else is doing who's entering at the same level as you. And because it's typically exciting for freshmen who go in, sounds like you're 23 if you work for the last 5 years. Most freshmen who are going in are about 18. It's their first time living away from home. And so it's super exciting. They've got all of this independence and all these fun activities are happening. But for you, I mean, there's a little bit of an age gap there. That 5 years can be significant between 18 and 23. Most people are graduating college or have graduated college by then, and you're just going in. And so it makes sense that you might be feeling a little bit disappointed because you didn't get to have that experience. But I think what I would say to you is, I mean, that's part of life, is learning to manage that disappointment, but then also looking at where you're at right now to say, okay, well, what do I need to do, in terms of my work commitments, and how can I get involved with getting to know some of my peers here in these events? Because some of these events are important in learning how to make connections. What's your biggest worry about college? Do you have any concerns about going in and being, there being an age difference between you and your peers? I
mean, I did at one point, but I mean, it's just I know I started late, and like I said, so I have faith, so that I know that I'm where I am because it's where God needed to be and needed me to be. And then like the 5 years, I know as soon as I got out of high school, I was not ready for college. So,
Aaliyah, you're going through an adjustment period right now. It's exciting. I was just telling the guys on the break that September in the fall is a lot like the new year. You were probably so excited about this new opportunity, and then now that you're doing both things, it feels a little overwhelming. And the good news is that it's not going to always feel this way, that you're going to find a rhythm and you're going to get clarity on what you do need to focus on. Right now, when you're getting all those, all the outlines for the classes and all the expectations of, when the coursework will be required, along with your regular work duties, it can feel overwhelming. Are you also meeting a lot of new people? So you really haven't found your friend group at school yet?
Yes.
Okay. So you'll give yourself some space. Go ahead, Aaliyah. Sorry.
Oh no, you go ahead. It was not important.
No, it's all important because it's coming from you. We want to give you that space. But I think the most important thing that you can keep in mind is that you're feeling overwhelmed. It's normal because of the time of year, this big adjustment, and it's going to even out eventually. The other thing about work is you're going to make some decisions based on even transportation from one place to the next can be part of this overwhelming feeling. How am I going to get to the things that I need to get to? And, if you already have a friend group that is in place, whether they are at school or at work, it will be important for you to stay in touch with the people who know you well right now. And do you have systems in place? Like, do you keep a schedule on your phone? Do you have paper schedule? How do you manage your day to day?
So I do both phone and my planner. Planner is just when I could just sit down and pull it out, and then my phone is just when I'm on the go or whatnot. But I'm not trying to disregard. I do have my church family, and I have people like that. But of course, I'm trying to find my college group, and of course, I haven't started classes yet. That starts tomorrow.
Yeah.
And so
we're excited, Aaliyah.
Classes.
Yeah, you can,
okay.
And we're excited for this next chapter. Yes, and we'll be praying for you. We'll send you a copy of How People Grow. I think would be a good one. It'll get her prepared for what's next in her life. But we're excited for you. It's a new chapter.
Sounds good. Aaliyah, stay on the phone and we'll send you a copy of How People Grow. And another book that might interest you from the newlife.com store is called Becoming an Adult. We'll be right back.
I was sort of vaguely familiar that the 12 steps had some origination in the Bible. I found Life Recovery, and one of the things I liked so much was that it had such a broad appeal. It wasn't limited to just alcohol or drugs, that it was addressing a wide range of problems.
At New Life, we believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience. There are life recovery groups all over the country. They take place online, in conference calls, and in person. And if there isn't one in your area, we can help you start one. We have startup materials, leaders' guides, CDs, Bibles, and more, all with discounts available for groups. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ask for Terry Ward. The 12 Steps have long been a great help to people in recovery because much of the 12 Steps' power comes from the fact that they capture principles clearly revealed in the Bible.
The 12 Steps is really a pattern for all of us as Christians.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. For over 35 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addiction, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
I found a counselor through New Life Ministries, and it's just been outstanding.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first steps toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door for a better tomorrow.
To get someone that's competent, that's good at what they do, it's been like day and night compared to what I've had before.
Call 1-800-639-5433. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
If you have a full-time job, or even if you're a pensioner, like they say in Britain,
right.
It's nice to know how much income to expect each month so you can plan ahead, budget, etc. It's the same thing for us here at New Life Ministries. While we love occasional donations and even one-time ones, why, Becky Brown, president of New Life Live, is it important to know what we've got coming in each month?
Do you know, one of the things that I say about people who give on a monthly basis is that you have decided ahead of time to be part of helping people find their transformation. You know, a lot of times we think, oh, I'm going to give. I really believe in the ministry and I want to give. And then, you know, some other distraction comes up and then you forget. And I've heard that over and over again, you know, where people think, oh, I've always wanted to give to New Life. And listen, we've made it really simple. You can give on a monthly basis. We can get it set up so that you don't have to think about it every month. And if you give every month, what you're doing is you're helping us know that we have the funds to continue to offer help and hope to so many people. I was recently in a meeting with a lot of different ministries, and they are teaching and preaching ministries, which are really good. And, you know, we get value from them. But what I was realizing in that moment, I've probably known this for a long time, is that New Life is boots on the ground. We have counselors, we have coaches, we have intensives, we have the webinars. We're giving you the practical tools to get your new life. And when people support New Life, you're supporting helping people who need that practical application, that the counselors that will walk alongside them. Just this past weekend, we had our Every Man's Battle intensive, and we helped men find their next life so that they don't get stuck in that addictive or just less than integrity life that God has for them. Your gifts make a difference in lives, and not only in that single person's life, but also in their family, in their community, for generations to come. And I'm going to say thank you ahead of time, because I know you want to give on a monthly basis to New Life.
Yep, you can find out more about Club New Life on our website, newlife.com, or by calling us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And you know, we're going to be in the studio for another hour after this hour is done. We can talk about whatever topic you want to talk about. One topic we often talk about is grief. And this coming Saturday, they call National Grief Awareness Day, but we don't have to wait until Saturday to talk about it. We can talk about it today. So call in to 1-800-229-3000. Hank, hang on. We're going to talk to Ellen first, calling in from Baltimore, listening on WAVA. Hello, Ellen. Thanks for calling in.
Hello. Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah. How can we help you today?
Well, as I've been waiting, my mind has been kind of turning. I have been divorced for a year, and we were separated for an entire year prior to that. So I feel divorced for 2 years, to be honest. We were married for 38 years, and we do have 3 children. One is still in college. And I think I'm just questioning myself how well I'm navigating. There was someone earlier talking about that's in the middle of a divorce, and you were talking to her about detaching from her husband. And my husband, I had to ask him to leave 2 years ago because I found he was taking street prescription drugs he was buying on the street and hiding them. And it was just a very deep betrayal, because he actually accused 2 of my children of bringing them, that they were theirs, before he finally admitted it was his.
Wow.
So, and there's a lot prior to that, and we had done counseling marital counseling several times, and basically after the last counseling, he said, well, I just want to fix this on my own, and he wanted to stop counseling. And so the deal kind of was, you can't mess up again, because there had also been an affair. And I'm like, if you do any betrayal like this again, I'm going to ask you to leave. So kind of unsurprisingly now, I can see, and that's what the counselor said, wasn't surprised. Ultimately, he did. It just always took different directions, but there were lots of betrayals.
Yeah. So what's your main question for us today, Ellen?
Yeah. So we're in a stage of life where I have 2 children getting ready to get married, and he really had no contact with us the first 7 months after I asked him to leave, but then little by little started hearing from him, and 2 of the 3 children do speak to him now. The oldest still does not. And
so are you wondering...
I guess I'm trying... he's still the father.
Yeah.
I'm trying to give him the respect as father of my children, but I feel like he's an unsafe person in a lot of ways. I do not want to return to, I have no illusions about wanting to ever be married again, and I feel sorry for him that he's ended up alone like he has.
Mark, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's difficult when you get married, divorced, especially once you've been married for so long, because you need to learn to take off that hat of spouse mind. And if you've got shared kids together, to put on the co-parent mind. Now, you know, your kids are adults now. And so he really owns that relationship with each of his children, and it's on him to build that or rebuild that back. And of course you care about him and you care about them and you want them to be connected. I think it sounds like, even if you and he are not connected, but he really needs to own that part. And so if you try and continue to give them the benefit that, well, your dad really loves you and he's doing this, what I'm saying is, don't jump in and try and rescue that. Let that play out. Of course, it sounds like you're not going ahead and putting him down to them, but let them own their relationship. That's part of the struggle that he needs to go through, and that may be the incentive that he needs to break this drug addiction, because I don't know where he's at really in his recovery, and you may not either. And it may take the fact of losing his relationship with his kids, because losing his marriage with you it was not enough incentive. And so it may take, you know, that looming thing of possibility of happening to be his rock bottom to get him out of recovery, into recovery.
Becky, about 90 seconds.
Yeah, Ellen, here's the thing. I said it already earlier. I would love for you to go to Restore in November. Your own healing is what's priority right now. And as you go into these marriages or these weddings where he's going to be present, you want to be your best self. You don't want to be in reaction to him. And it's going to take, you said that you were going to a counselor, and just continue to work on recovery. I would actually encourage you to join one of our life recovery groups, because you can process some of these feelings in a way that it lets them out, but it also gives you that detachment that is going to be part of your future and your healing. And you raise some good kids, and as long as you are not making dad the enemy and the bad guy, that looks better on you, because they're going to figure this out all along the way. And it's very complex, but it is worth doing the work so that you don't get drugged back into the drama. And you've had to do a lot of hard things, Ellen. Making him leave the home was a big decision. You've had to be very strong in these days, especially when he just disappeared. And, you know, I don't know if you know the whole story about why he was using or why he was acting out, but there's a lot of wounding that's there, but that's not yours to solve. And so I think with a good group of people processing with you, you can make it through these upcoming weddings.
All right, Ellen, thank you for calling in today. So you can find out more about the Restore Healing After Betrayal Intensive and about our life recovery groups at newlife.com. We'll also talk to you right now when we put you on hold and get your information, because we want to send you a resource from the newlife.com store, and we're going to be in the studio for another hour. Call in.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.